Just going back to the very beginning for you, can you recall your introduction to the blues? How it first hit you?
I can actually. I was working at a second-hand, a bit like St Vincent de Paul type shop, and one of the ladies who used to go in there, we ended up, having cups of tea and lunch together, and she ended up making me, I think, 3 cassettes of a whole bunch of different stuff. Fred McDowell and that was a whole bunch of different stuff, and I just went, aha, this is it. That's what I want to play. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy. I realised there was music out there that suited me, because I kind of dabbled with a bit of classical, and I might pick up the guitar once a week, maybe once a fortnight, just dabble until I heard this stuff, and it just blew my mind. And then I chanced in Blacktown in Sydney's West, chanced on Mississippi John Hurt, 1928 sessions.
Wow.
And I just was over the moon. He was this kind of style of picking, which it was just wonderful. And I had this idea, it wasn't commercial, it was just people, they were just doing what they did, and it was sensational. So off I went, found a guy in Paddington, above Folkways. He gave lessons in finger picking. Bought myself, I think they did like 6-week little sessions. Missed out on the last one, but that was enough to get me going.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky. Just got into it. Damien Cohen, he and I met not long after that at my brother's party. So we thought, we can start jamming together. And
so you worked in an acoustic duo format for a while there, didn't you?
Yeah, harmonica, guitar. Well, we got the kazoos. Quite enjoyed a lot of jug band stuff on these tapes, and loved it. Loved that kazoo and that free, sort of swang and little bit kooky. What was his name? The guy who did walk right in, sit right down, Delhi, let your mind roll on.
Right.
It was just like, yeah. So I forget his name.
Speaking of jug band music, tell us about the Mudsteppers jug band.
Yeah, well, Damien and I kind of were playing together for maybe a year or two. Damien knew a chef in a little wine bar, and he managed to get us 2 nights a week, regular, playing at this little wine bar. So we're playing basically the 2 or 3 winos and the barman, who was happily snorting himself away through the night. It was a classic. And after, I guess, a good year or so, we started thinking, it might be good to amp this up a bit, and just chanced upon a great jug player, Terry Hennessy. Had really good lips, very good intonation, and crazy guy, and a washboard player, Ross. So instant Mudsteppers. And it was really good. We had a lot of fun there for a bit. Then I went to the Leisure Masters with Brendan Gallagher. Kind of started learning, Rycuda and a little bit more classy, mate, and that. So the Chris O'Connor by then was around and playing beautifully, just really authentic sort of picking style. So he kind of suited the band better after a while. I started getting a bit stale with it, I think. And so Chris stepped in, and the Mudsteppers went up to Byron and did some good stuff. And I entered my little path.
So you think it was something you had to do to go through that succession of different bands and collaborations before you worked up the nerve to get out there as a solo act?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was very lucky. It was just a story of luck. I never really tried to be a muso, inverted commas. Tried to, never really entertain the idea of a music career as such. But just kept getting lucky, really. And that was just a great education for me. And then what happened? The Leisure Masters was sort of happening, and I still wasn't quite there. And I got Andy Lewis from the Whitlams, the bass player, and Pete Burgess from the Backsliders. I knew those guys, and I just thought, if I got a gig, that'd be a good little 3-piece. So at the Rose of Australia, we did a few gigs there, and it was great. With this little jumping 3-piece band. I don't know. Sometimes it was acoustic thrash, and other times it was pretty interesting kind of mix that we did. We didn't rehearse. Didn't really need to. I just start playing, and Andy was amazingly good at picking stuff up. And that went really well. So that was the thing that really got me ready to be able to play on my own. And again, just sort of fell into it at the Excelsior down at Glebe there. Did a night. Damien Cohen and Chris were there playing on a Saturday night, and they went away for holidays, so I filled in for them, and it went really well. So I asked for a Friday night, and they gave me a regular Friday night just on my own, and then so for 9 months while I was at uni, every Friday night went down to Excelsior, and by the end of it was going nuts. And then, alas, the guy who owned it, I think he drank his bank account dry. So the place got shut down and put in receivership, and everybody, all the staff, every single person in the place got the sack, and it sort of started again. Now it's quite a good little venue, and so it's nice to be part of that. And now the wine bar that Damien and I kind of got going with music is now the Little Drummer, and so it's nice to know that's a vibrant place now, you know. We had a good hand in helping these venues along.
Moving down to the south coast there way back then, did that influence your music at all? Can your music be influenced by your environment?
I think it did, because I was trying to play hotels in Sydney, which was more suited to covers, and it was hard to just get regular gigs on the weekends playing this kind of old bluesy, jug bandy sort of stuff with a few Talking Heads songs thrown in for good measure. It was very tricky, whereas coming down here, it was like a massive hypodermic shot in the arm of, yeah, go for it. People were very responsive. You just add water and the gigs just went great. They were able to dance to someone who's just a solo guitar with a foot tapping, had the little tap board, a la Rory McLeod.
Yep.
And yeah, it was amazing how responsive and they appreciated someone who was putting in an effort, and they'd kind of give you so much energy coming back. It was fantastic, much more than the city crowds. You know, they do tend to be a little bit more, you know, well, what's coming up next? Come on,
Yeah.
chop, what's next? Sit back and
with their arms folded, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I kind of went down in flames in places like that. I had a hard time because I kind of relied on that interaction with an audience to sort of spur me on to so that you end up in the zone, man, where you really just are free and rip into it.
How do you manage to get into that zone when you're recording in the studio and you don't have the audience to bounce off?
I focused a lot on thinking this was the ultimate performance. You know, I might be playing to thousands of people here, and I just pretended that this was a performance. And that's how it was, definitely how I recorded, which isn't necessarily the best way to record, but certainly for bluesy stuff, I think it's spot on. You know, there's no tricks, no anything, very few overdubs. The first album I remember doing quite a few overdubs because there was no one else who knew the songs, and I just had fun. I said, we got a couple of hours, cool. How about I put on a bit of slide or a harmony or whatever? That was in the moment, so that felt pretty good. So it was very much a performance, and I just focused all I was worth and just went for it, you know. Tried not to rehearse too much, just kept it pretty free. Luckily, I had players around who were happy with that, more or less. I mean, I think they went off and did their own little rehearsals, but I'm not. I kind of feel like the blues is not something one should rehearse too much, you know. That's my own feeling. You just kind of have a go, really, and hopefully it's different every time you play it. Tricky. Some songs are just come out the way they come out. Yeah,
you had some wonderful musicians on that first album. It must have been a great boost to your confidence going in for that first recording with such
Cloud 9,
yeah.
John, absolutely. You know, Robbie Suter, Jim Conway, Rod Coe, who produced Slim Dusty of all people, but there he'd be with his big upright bass with massive action and smiling away, keeping up with it. Not Terry Casey. Well, Damien Cohen played a couple of songs, and Jim Conway played a few songs. I was pretty lucky, yeah.
Read a press statement describing you as an acoustic blues madman.
Indeed, I would. I'd have a lot of fun being as silly as I possibly could. Yeah, that's right. The happiest bluesman alive.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's what I wanted when I was going to see bands. I wanted to be smiling and forget the crud of day-to-day in and out sort of life, and just sort of forget everything for a while. And the best way to do that was to put a smile on your face and have a bit of a dance, or just enjoy the company that you're with in the pub or the venue or whatever. So I definitely tried to do that as well. I think that most people are out just to sort of, just something different, just forget about the day-to-day stuff and enjoy themselves. So I was pretty keen to put smiles on faces, and play good blues as well. So it was a good mix. Play hard and try and wrap yourself in what you're playing. And then if you can make them laugh after a full-on Fred McDowell thing, I reckon that's good. And also responding to that moment, that audience, that venue. It's never ever the same twice in a row. There's always something to learn at a gig. And I think it's still in fairly good stead. I guess now I'm 47 and I'm thinking, I think I've pretty much had enough of that. I'm slowing down. Yeah. I still want to have fun, but maybe not quite so much energy, and so not so much the madman as the slightly odd man, perhaps.
On your CDs, your songs have sat nicely alongside covers that you've done of legendary blues performers' material. Do you try and write in the tradition of the old blues greats?
No, well, not really. I haven't written anything for a while now, which is why I'm kind of stepping out of the scene, inverted commas. I found that a song would just pop out. It's that whole the Tom Waits thing of the song writes you. You become the vehicle for this little moment of sound and lyric. So I found myself just writing, I don't know, out of the blue. Different things would inspire me. And all of a sudden, half an hour later, there it is. And I wouldn't tend to go back too much, very rarely. Maybe the last album on People with Oomph, I had a little go at tidying things up. But by and large, it writes itself. It's bang, there it is. Wow, cool, a song. That's all right. Yeah, because they're all over the place. My songwriting has there's a fair amount of variation between them all, from start to finish, which is good, I think. Yeah.
I noticed looking through your career history, you toured China at one stage and performed over there. How did the Chinese respond to the blues?
I don't know if they got what I did. It was an interesting audience. I think they enjoyed. They probably had no idea what was going on, but they could see this guy was having a go. So they were very, very courteous in their applause and gave me a lot of nice feedback. Harmonica singing. Both me and my girl got curls all through our hair. But no. I probably didn't understand a word, and my foot's tapping away, and I had a hell of a time stopping the production people from putting reverb. I love reverb. So I'm playing something fast, and there's all this sort of echoey reverb going on. The fallbacks were at least 20, if not 30 metres away most of the time, because I was touring with another couple of bands, and one of those bands was like a dancing kind of like the Spice Girls, really. They were a German Spice Girl outfit, all taped music. So it was fairly challenging most of the time. Sometimes it was good. Sometimes I got my message through, but very rarely any English. So I had to kind of mime, no, cut that out, no. But halfway through the first song, virtually every time was this big fat reverb coming in. I just love reverb. But that was a good experience. It makes one realise just how blessed we are in Australia. We're kings and queens, every one of us, virtually. Yeah. I guess, notwithstanding people on the street, obviously, but it really comes home just how wealthy we are, and we should, it'd be nice to think that we were a bit more responsible about it all, and so on and so forth. Yeah. But we won't go there.
There's been a great mix of musical styles on your albums, and you play a variety of instruments yourself. Do you like to experiment when recording?
Yeah, given a chance, absolutely. It is a bit tricky. Most of the time I just had few days. You know, the budget just meant all I've got is, like, the first one was 3 days. I think Serious Man was about 5, and I think we ended up having to get another day. And then the People with Oomph was a little bit of a mishmash, but always up against time. Just didn't have much money to really do a better job of recording. And I think at the time I was just thinking record so that I can sell them at gigs. It was very much a live thing, try and keep them live-ish. Yeah, but whilst recording, it's a great time to be creative. You know, different ideas come up when you're actually recording. You're not quite sure how something's going to come out. I guess people do a lot of pre-production, where they record stuff, whereas I kind of didn't really understand that. Well, I got it together now, but haven't really written anything so that what would warrant putting out a new album.
Time-wise, there's been a fair bit of space between your albums over the years. Has recording not been as big a priority for you as performing?
That's right, yeah. I'm by far and away a performer, in inverted commas, than I am a kind of a... I mean, I think some of the songs I've written are great, but I'm not... I definitely wouldn't think of myself... I don't think of myself as a recording artist as much as a live performer. I still, you know, I tend not to practice, and I just tend to sort of have a play and go for it. And that suits live. Yeah, definitely. Now though, if I do start, I think also with the family, the time I had at home wasn't spent perfecting my craft. It was spent outside playing soccer and wrestling and mucking around, basically.
Talking about your songwriting, you say you haven't written much in a while, but when you were, did you have to specifically set time aside to sit down and write, or were there
No, it just happened, John. It just, I'm arced up on something here, and out it comes. You get always the song and lyric happened at the same time for me. They're sort of part and parcel of each other. I don't think I've ever had words and put music to it. Sometimes I've had music and put words to the music, but not music to words. It's interesting. I think as I write a word down, it's usually got some kind of groove, and the melody tends to sit with the groove. So I was pretty lucky, really, just having the space to be able to. If I suddenly got creative, I had the time to follow it, or just made it a few late nights.
And blues music obviously didn't originate here, but do you think there is a particular Australian style of blues?
I think there could be. I definitely think there could be if there was a little bit more relaxedness about what's happening. I think it's a little bit too... It's really hard getting up on stage and playing with it and be completely at ease with whatever it is that you do. You know, most people have a hard time making mistakes. They don't like it. Something's wrong. I've made a mistake. Whereas I make heaps of mistakes, and audiences actually quite like it. You know, you're revealing yourself. Oh, you're pushing yourself to the point where you make mistakes. And I you know, time and time again, I was happy to see audiences respond and enjoy that part of it. So I think, given a chance, I don't know. There's that little larrikin thing that Aussies have does come out here and there with different acts, but by and large, I tend to think that it's a little bit safe, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, make mistakes. They're good. We're human.
We're human, exactly.
We make mistakes, and unfortunately, everywhere we go, if you make a mistake, you're facing litigation. And it's almost the same with music somehow. There's sort of like, oh no, you missed that chord, or he's saying flat. It annoys me. Don't get me started.
I was reading about the recording of your live album, Wild and Woolly. It sounds like it was done in frantic circumstances. I believe you had to rush there from a soccer match to set up.
That's it. It was crazy. I think the endorphins were well and truly pumping right through every cell of my body in that night. It was wonderful. Managed to more or less contain it so that it funneled out musically and in a good, fun evening. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. dash off from after playing soccer and set the PA up, and I don't know if I ate, but I certainly had liquid refreshments to help me through. It was a long, about 5 hours, I think, and a few people got up, which is great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was good. It's a little bit rough, hence the wild and woolly, but it was definitely good fun. And I just recorded on a mini disc. I sat on it for about 12 months, I think, thinking, no, this is crap. And then I learned a little bit more about Cubase and thought, ooh, maybe I can rescue this. You know, the guitar sounded like a thin piece of barbed wire, really.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. It was pretty crazy, but it just managed to keep it together.
You've been well represented on the festival circuit over the years too. Do you enjoy festivals and what they have to offer in terms of attracting new audiences?
Absolutely. You know, the festivals are just wonderful things because people are there who understand music and enjoy music, and they're there for the music. You know, there's not often, if you're just playing at a pub or whatever, people are there for all sorts of reasons. And as a performer, you kind of, well, you don't have to. Most people probably don't, but I always just tried to sit in with that and go where I thought that room wanted to go. Whereas festivals, you can do exactly what you want to do, and people kind of they get what you're doing. You know, it's all great. As a finger picker, and you're trying to just do something kind of funky or a little bit out of the norm or whatever, they go, yeah, good on you. They like it, so it's an absolute. It's little wonder that festivals, you know, just get so many applications because it's the place to play.
Yeah.
As they say.
Now, your studio there seems to be the main focus of your activities these days. Tell us all about it.
It has been. We're about to move to Bega from the Cobargo Delta into the Bega Valley Delta. So now I'm starting to switch towards teaching. I find myself, I've always thoroughly enjoyed it, but I've never been very good at it. So I kind of learned a little bit about what teaching's about, breaking things into smaller parts and just keeping it simple. So I'm probably now more focused on teaching. The studio thing and they're everywhere. It's great to be able to do it, and I'll keep doing it. But in terms of being a concerted effort, as it were, I don't know. It's a very competitive place, and there's actually a great studio down here, Pirate Studios, run by Dave Sparks, who actually used to go to school with, and he's got a really nice setup. So I'll definitely keep recording people because you know it's more about the people. When I recorded it with Glenn Scarrett, it was because I knew him and really liked him, and I felt comfortable to play my music in his studio, or with him. It wasn't his studio, but so yeah, there'll be other people around who feel the same. You know, I'd like to record with Damon. He keeps it light and comes up with lots of silly accents.
So the people coming through your studio is mainly people from your region there?
In the main, yeah. A couple of people from Canberra have come in. One mob from Sydney came down just because they know me from the festival world and like my approach, I think, and thought, yeah, we can record, and I'm cheap. So, yeah, it worked well. But, yeah, I guess mainly from down here.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about performing and recording yourself these days? Is that you've pretty much put a line through that, or?
It's not a drawn line, but it's a bit of a line that seems to be there. Anyway, I still haven't recorded anything of my own. It's crazy. I want to. It's definitely on the to-do list, and it's getting higher up because it feels weird that I've had a studio for years and haven't really
recorded yourself.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, man. I've been enjoying a lot of kind of the newgrass, bluegrassy Tim O'Brien, playing with Damien Neal, incredible player. And so we head all over the place musically and have a lot of fun, and he's just an amazing musician. He really is extraordinary. So that, yeah, again, I just keep slowly shifting, I guess, mellowing a little bit, I think, enjoying sweeter sounds, rather than that kind of younger angst and get stuff out. I've pretty much done it. I still like going hard, but maybe not quite as much.
Not as hard as before.
Yeah. I'm sort of looking for more sweeter sounds, I guess. and wish I had a voice that could match it. Alas.
Fantastic to catch up with you, Damon. I'll let you get back to the shed now and continue on with the big move.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for all the great music you've given us so far, and we hope you don't put a big red line through any prospects of recording and performing again. We'd sure love to hear more from you.
Oh, mate, you're making me feel very good, my friend. That's great. Thank you so much, John.
Good on you, Damon.
Yeah.
All the best.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.